Okay.
What have been some of the biggest challenges and successes for our organizations then, Robin? What do you think? What would you say?
I think one of the biggest challenges has been trying to keep to a certain ethical quality standard in what we say and what we do, and delivering that within a environment that can be sometimes suspicious of us, the institutions, as well as our community. And you have to build trust and respect by what you say and what you do. And that's been very challenging in the situations that we've had to go through over the last 15, 16 years. But it's enabled us to build a bit more endurability. So that's been some of the challenges for me. What about challenge for you, Carl? And then
You
we'll
know,
deal
Rob,
with success.
okay. I think some of the challenges is to be an advocate for the families that we are working with when the system oppresses or the system misrepresents, misunderstands, and stereotypes them. For example, going before a parole board where there's a judge asking us as an organization, do we believe that the person that we're working with is changing? So there's sometimes a challenge for people not to believe what we're doing. Another challenge is to be a sustainable organization, even though we've been going for the past 16
15,
years,
16 years, yeah.
16 years, but every year we struggle to maintain that we want to be a sustainable organization, that we don't have to be thinking financially how we're going to cope. But that's a challenge, Robin.
Yeah, I agree, Carv. And, there are sometimes perceptions out there that, bringing up's got all the resource and we truly haven't. I would love to have some of the resources I hear sometimes, because then we can be able to employ more people
Of course.
and help to do all the other stuff we dream about that we want to do, but we will get there. What are some of the successes? Well, for me, one person bears to mind that when we met this person in prison, as a IPP prisoner, meaning he's a lifer prisoner, and the prison was saying everything that goes wrong in that prison is because of this individual. If he's seen talking to Tom or to Harry, he's labeled. And when we were first introduced to him, it took time to build trust, and he was so vilified and labeled that it was said he will never come out of prison again. And that was back in 2009. And we were able, through the being lean and mean, to follow him through his journey. We sat parole boards with him. We sat in front of judges and argued for the right for him to have a second chance. We'd go and meet with his mom, meet with his family, meet with his loved ones. And the beauty of seeing him come from high up in the system to come down into CCAT, into DCAT, open prison, to now he's out. And he will phone sometime, because we're still in touch, we still help, he still supports. He will come and say, what do you need? And we've become, like we call the people we work with, our fams. And he's able to then say, yo, big man, look from where I've come from. If it wasn't for you bringing hope, I wouldn't be here now, because they were going to look to keep me behind bars until me dead. So that is a success for me, because he can phone me up now. I'm tired of this work thing, big man. And sometimes I just get the keys and shake and say, remember this.
Remember this, yes.
Don't go back there. You've worked so hard. And he says, it's true. And he's even called me in this COVID time and said, boy, I'm holding it because I'm free. I'm free. That's a success to me.
And,
How about you, Carl?
adding to that success, Robin, is seeing South Asian men who are Muslims, African Caribbean men who are Muslim, say to us, and white European men, all three, that we work across diverse groups, to say to us, you have impacted my life. In fact, I've heard them say, sometime when I was going to do the badness, I just heard your voices in bringing hope, and I've stopped. And that's a success. I'm saying now that it's also successful that we can negotiate from the strategic levels as an organization on the ground, and then we can also be on the ground. I think that is successful. And finally, I believe that we have been working out what it is to be a faith-based organization, and not to proselytize, but to be there as an organization that engages with anybody. I think that is successful.
So it's interesting. Carver says faith-based intervention. I've abbreviated. We are the new FBI, fear-based intervention.
Okay.
Real. So another question that's also coming, Carv, is why are you passionate about working with this specific group of individuals? Carver, why are you passionate about working with the individuals that we work with?
Robin, I'm passionate on two key levels. Firstly, my love. Now, this is kind of, I've said to men before, I love you unconditionally. I said, what do you mean, love me unconditionally? Now, there's something about my theology, my faith, and it is rooted in a particular text in the New Testament of the Bible, which is Luke 4, verse 18, which literally says that Yeshua, who is Christ in the Bible, he said that I am empowered to deal with people who are broken, bruised, oppressed, vilified, and who are marginalized. And because I'm a man of faith from the Christian context, I have been totally propelled to see the lives of my brothers and sisters, even though they're from other mothers, that they are empowered to maximize their potential. And that's why, I will do this until my own death, so to speak. It's a lifetime um, ministry, if you please, and focus of mine. So I am excited about the work that I do.
For me, Carv, I'm passionate because I've lost friends over many years to this issue. I also, it pains me to see generations that we fall into that same trap. And then when you're in that, sometimes you don't believe there's a way out. And I'm passionate. Sometimes it more get me in a trouble. Sometimes a fierce countenance get me in a trouble. But I'm passionate about saying to everybody, yo, if me can do it, you can do it.
Yes.
And if we can do it, others can do it. And we start that movement of change and second chance. So the reason why I'm passionate, it comes from that lived experience, the pain, the anguish, the trauma. But I will not let that shape my future.
Yes.
I will let it shape me to do better. Who know better, do better. So I don't just advocate what I'm talking about. It comes from that lived experience of changing because I'm a work in progress.
And I wonder, Robin, how many organizations sometimes you and I talk and we pray together, but sometimes we physically cry. And I'm thinking sometimes I'm crying for some of the families I'm working with, because I feel helpless. And I wish I could just do that and things change, but we have to go through a process. So there's something about our hearts that is connected to the communities at grassroots and the people and the individuals and the families that we work with.
Definitely, Carver. And that fits nicely into, the next question that we've been asked to answer is, where do we see ourselves in 5 years' time? And I see there's something that one of our staff members says in a recent interview, which sums it up for me, that Bringing Hope becomes the go-to organization to challenge institutional discrimination, to challenge religious discrimination, to challenge anything that is oppressive, that marginalizes, that labels, that vilifies. That Bringing Hope becomes that go-to place to support and to empower every person that we can help who chooses to say, enough, me done. I want my second chance. I want to cash in on that credit. That's what Bringing Hope should be, that advocate across the UK and the world, to be everybody deserves that second chance, that Damascus Road, that second chance to really say, yeah, I can change. I can change. I can change.
And
That's
you know what that means, Robin, for us as an organization? We will work in strategic partnership, whether it's with probation, violence reduction units, the Home Office, community, faith groups, and other organizations who impact on the lives of the people that we're wanting their lives to be better. So we will be strategic, we will be operational, we will write things because of our research. So in 5 years' time, I hope we would have a hub that has a research hub, that has a number of things that will enable the people that we're working with to have that second chance that you're talking about.
Yeah, indeed, Carl. We dream, people, of having that hub space, that bunker where everybody can get something from it to enable us to move forward. Because sometimes money alone ain't the answer. Love can be the greatest answer. Just to show love, just to show concern, just to let somebody know, say, yo, we are gonna stop with you, we are gonna walk with you, we are gonna be there with you through thick and thin to see you come out the other end, you know?
Yes.
Um, Final question then, Carl, what's come in, and I think it's kind of relevant to where we are now, is what's our thoughts on the Black Lives Matters movement, and how does that impact on the work we do now and moving forward?
Well, you know what, Robin? We are working with a constituency of men and women who are struggling already to survive in a society and an ethos that is oppressive to people who are seen as Black or minority ethnic. I don't necessarily like that term, but we have seen the pain. So Black Lives Matters and the murder of George Floyd made me cry for 5 days. I was enraged myself. I was so angry. I had to deal with my mind and the trauma I faced when I heard George Floyd say, please, I cannot breathe. Please, can I stand? He was even saying, please. He then cried out for his mother. And then, he died. And that erupted, rightly so, a sense of disgust and anger across the world. So now we're dealing with men and women who are in our service user group, and even our team members, our wonderful members of our team who are saying, well, what can we do? So now we're having to deal with people who have flashbacks, who were involved with the police back in the day, who were literally beaten by the police. And I believe that we are going to be working with the impact of this for some time. And I don't think this protest is just going to stop like that. I believe we need to request and demand, if you please, institutional change, and institutional change in attitude, thinking, behavior, and legal changes, procedural changes. And that's what I feel that is sparked in our own mind, in my mind, as we've been talking over the past 2 weeks.
Carl, for me, I come from a lived experience because I was brutalized and beaten by the police. And when that happened to me, and I could have died, I had that foot in my neck. I was spat on, vilified, called all types of names. And I thought I was going to die. But the God in whom we believe in and serve, the greater power, says it's not your time. And that's one of the core things that drives why I do what I do. And I'm coming public with that to say this.
Yes.
We've gone through what we see happening now. And we've got to encourage the genuine uproar and passion to say, don't burn down the shops, don't loot, don't do, because that's what they expect us to do.
Yes.
We've been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and we're still in the same situation 20, 30, 40 years on. But what we can do for those of us that have got through that trauma and got through that pain can actually stand up and say, like organizations like Bringing Up, our life matters. Black life matter, our life matter, second chance. But now we've got to have the planning and the strategy to start to influence what we do. So for us, the impact is what role will Bringing Hope play in the solution to what is a big problem of institutional practices of oppression, injustice, and inequality, and play our role with individuals, organizations that are serious about tackling this once and for all. No playmakers, serious time, so that we don't have another generation over the next 5 to 10, 15 years that they will look back and says, what did you do at this moment? So that's why I believe we're here at this time, and we have a role to play as Bringing Hope.
And you know what, Robs? I just like to thank you, and I'd like to thank the team. We've got an absolutely fantastic team, which I believe we're an 18 squad. And all that you've just said here, we will be a part of that, in inverted commas, protest to bring about change and sustainability for those who need a second chance. That's all I want to just end with, really.
Yeah. And I'd just like to thank the team and everyone that has spoken to them and the different questions that have come in over a periodic period of time. We are not some individuals that normally do social media and do this because we just get on and do the work. But many people have said to us, it's time to let people understand a bit more who Bringing Hope is, what we're about, why do we do what we do. So this will, as you hear this, please feed back to us. And it may be that we need to do more, we will see. But as I always end my things is, just remember people, one God, one order, one community, one people. Rest in peace. Everybody, move forward together. Thank you.
Check it out.